Hey guys, it's Nomad from Viper 6, and today I'll be showing you how to take apart and put back together a VSR-10 and it still function. Okay, what you want to do first is take out the screw right below the mag and the screw right behind the trigger. This top screw up here is a Allen key. The one back here is a Phillips. I've already went ahead and done that, so we'll start moving along. Now what you want to do is remove the barrel and the action from the stock. So what you want to do is lift up on the barrel and it literally should just pop right out. Okay, so now you can put your stock off to the side. So next, you'll remove the trigger guard and it slides right off. Now you have two screws holding in your trigger system. You want to unscrew those. They're both Phillips. Now, a really best thing to probably know about this is make sure you keep these two screws. Just because if you miss one, it'll start slam firing because the trigger system won't have the piston sear all the way against the bolt, so it won't hold it in place. Okay, that one's off. Okay, so once you got that, this little thing right here, push it up and it should just pop right out. And if you didn't know what I was talking about, a piston sear is this little thing right here. The bolt comes back, catches it, it releases again, and holds it right here until when you pull the trigger, it goes back down and releases the spring. So we'll put this right here. Next, if you're wanting to change your spring, there is a Allen key thing right here that all you have to do is unscrew. You take the bolt out and the spring comes out with it. We'll do that. Another thing, this little piece right here is held on with a spring, an Allen key, screw, and a little piece of metal. That is why when you pull the bolt up to be able to pull it back, it clicks. Don't do that. Okay, here's that piece I was talking about, and if I can get it to come out. There it is, that was holding it together. It was this little piece of metal which goes on the spring like this, and it connects, and when you pull it, it moves it off to the side and it clicks into another spot. When you put this back on, make sure it is not too tight. If it's too tight, it will mess up. Okay, so next you have your cylinder, your bolt, and your piston head. First, what you want to do, take your bolt off. Next, you want to unscrew your piston head. Okay, your piston head is out. There's another little piece, which is a piston, and then your spring comes out. And you got your cylinder with the piece that holds the bolt on. So now, pretty much you're ready to put it back together. But Also, this is the hop-up system. It's controlled by this little piece right here. You push it forward, the hop-up goes down. You push it back, the hop-up goes up. Okay, so now you're pretty much ready to put it back together. Okay, so spring goes in, slides down. You put the piston back in. It's probably smart to put the spring in the piston first, or it won't align right. So now you got that in there. And you push it in. So now you screw your piston back on, or your piston head. Okay, so now you have your cylinder with your piston head, your spring, and your piston back in. Okay, so next you want to take your bolt and put it back on. Next, you're going to take this piece with the little metal piece and the spring, if I can get it out. Yeah, it's always good to have a magnetic screwdriver, so if something like that happens, you can just pop it right back out. You put the spring on the smallest part of that, and slide spring first into this little hole right here on the bottom side. And it slides right on. You take it, align it with the hole closest to you, if you have the bolt facing you. So you got it on, everything aligned. You take your Allen key screw, and if you want to, you can hand screw it back on until it's tight enough, and then just screw it with the Allen key set. Make sure it's not too tight. If it's too tight, it won't have a lot of room to move. See how it stops? It's set, it moved. Set, it moved. Okay, pull it back up. Next, you attach the piston and the cylinder all back onto your barrel. Okay, so now that all that's back on there, all you have to do is put your trigger system back on. Now, when you're putting your trigger system back on, make sure this piece that I told you to flip up is all the way up. Not out, but enough to where it's setting up so it can snap in. And make sure your bolt is back so you can slip this on. Your bolt cannot be down or it will not go on whatsoever. Before you start screwing, flip that piece back down, and now you can screw it. Now make sure both of these screws are down on tight, or it will slam fire, because the pistons here won't have enough contact with the bolt and spring. Okay, so next you can put your trigger guard back on. It just slides right on. You take your stock that you had taken off earlier, slide it right over. Make sure everything is aligned. And make sure everything's down and secure. Nothing is sticking up. And you're ready to go. Now all you gotta do is screw back on. And if that happens, don't get frustrated. Just keep on going. put the whole trigger system back on. Well, not the trigger system, but the stock. Okay, so now that all that's on, you can take your screw, which was behind the trigger, or behind the mag, and screw it back on. Take your other screw, which is behind the trigger, and screw it back on. And now you should be ready to fire. And I will go and test this for you now. Okay guys, now that you have taken it apart and put it back together, even if you're just watching this, if you broke something and you're trying to fix it yourself because you ordered it apart and you didn't feel like sending it off to anybody, or that you're just wanting to take it apart and learn how to do it. Okay, now you're ready to put your magazine in, and now you can shoot. I want to get it first try. Thank you guys for watching on how to take the VSR10 apart and put it back together while it still functions. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that little bell icon on top, and you can get notifications for when we post another video. I'll see you all in the next one.